Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song With Me. It's in the gray hymnal and the words are on the screen. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Please be seated.
There's a saying that you might know. What you reap is what you sow. Turn it around and so it goes. What you plant is what you grow. What you plant is what you grow. You won't get cherries from an apple tree. It's so plain to see. What you plant is what you grow. Is what you grow. What you plant is what you grow. Is what you grow. So take care what seed you sow. 'Cause what you plant is what you grow. you grow. You won't get cherries from an apple tree. It's so plain to see. What you plant is what you grow. It's what you grow. What you plant is what you grow. It's what you grow. So take care what seed you sow. 'Cause what you plant is what you grow, grow, grow. What you plant is what you
Here we are in our circle again, a circle of vision and reflection, a forum for deciding and empowering.
Here we are at the base of another bridge, another space spanning the shores of today and tomorrow, beckoning us across the chasm, one day at a time.
Here we are, gathered again, at the cusp of the future, at the boundary that holds community together.
We are here in a circle of love and trust, brought to this moment by a series of choices and promises, by hope and gratitude, by our own shadows, faced and befriended.
With a servant's heart and a leader's listening, with a parent's love, truer than all our inner trembling, let us model the health we seek for all and lean into community.
Somewhere out there, all we dream is possible. Somewhere in here, we are sowing the seeds.
Let us bring the seed and soul into the light of thought and the warmth of community and the hope of love. Let us see together, hear together, and love together.
As many of you know, we have traditions here in that we know that we are forever changed when new people come into our community, and for that we are grateful. But we know that we are immeasurably changed when someone leaves our community for the final time. And so it is with that we acknowledge and that Lou Millen left our community for the final time. He was a member here for 7 years, and he died peacefully on February 23rd at age 92 after suffering a brief illness. He had his family by his side. May we keep the doors closed for now, please? Thank you. He had his family by his side, and he is survived by 3 children and his wife, Peggy. We also have a tradition here of giving out roses. We give roses to our youngest ones when they are dedicated by the congregation. We remove the thorns on the roses, and we give them to our littlest ones with the promise that we will care for them. And then when our children, our youth, move on beyond this community, we give them a rose with thorns, which they are really excited about receiving, that demonstrates that they are ready and that we have prepared them to head out into the world. We also give roses to our newest members, and we light a candle for those who have left our community for the final time, the light of which symbolizes the light that has been their life. And we take the petals of a rose, got it? There we go, and float them on the waters of life. And so I invite you to join me for a moment of silence as we just reflect upon this life that has left us, whether we have personally known Lou or not. And so we ask Spirit of Life and the Spirit that holds all of our concerns to please be with Lou's family during this time of grief and mourning, and to provide them with the comfort they might need and anything they might need. Lou's daughter, his 2 sons, and his wife, Peggy. May it be so. Amen and Ashe. We will have and share any information that we receive about a celebration of life, which is being planned by Lou's family as soon as that is available. And so right now, I want to call forward Stephen and Dawn Edgerton, who will share a reflection with us.
Good morning. I'm Steve, and this is Dawn Edgerton. We have been members here at ERUUF since the 1980s. And my association goes even farther back than that. Back to 1965, when my family moved to Chapel Hill and very shortly began to attend the newly formed Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Durham and Chapel Hill, which ERUUF was called back then. I subsequently was in a very close-knit high school youth group here, which meant a great deal to me in that time of a formative time in my life. I will confess, however, that after graduation from high school, I drifted away from ERUUF and all churches for a number of years and was a lapsed UU. That all changed when I married this lady and we started having children.
Like Steve, I was active in my church's youth group. Even though I was raised in the Methodist Church, I realized I'd been a UU Christian my whole life and did not know it. I wanted our children to have a similar but broader-minded experience of religious education. I wanted them to see examples of how people of different religious or non-religious backgrounds can learn from one another and enjoy fellowship. And I wanted them to witness a community that welcomes and accepts people as they are and no matter who they love.
So our offspring have been living independently for about a decade now, but ERUUF has continued to be a good fit for us. It remains a community of like-minded folks trying to live into a better world. I've gotten a lot out of being a member here as part of the Christian Fellowship for several years, and also through membership in 2 different covenant groups over the years. And over their time here, we've tried to do our part for ERUUF in various ways. We've both taught RE. We were both on the board of trustees at different times. I have been on the board of the Eno River Fellowship Foundation, and I am currently working to promote right relationships as a member of the Healthy Congregation Committee. In addition, over the years, as our means have expanded, we have gradually increased our pledge. But for me, the thing that has really resonated and sustained me the most here at ERUUF is Sunday services. That time that I'm here on Sunday is like no other time during my week. It has served as a brief period to take a breath and get outside my daily life and routines, to think about bigger issues and be brought back to what is most important in life. To be sure, the nature of this Sunday respite has changed somewhat over the years as we pass through the stages of family life and changes in work and in our nation. It was perhaps most important as an oasis during the hectic period when we had 3 little kids, and a moment just to sit and breathe was hard to come by. As our offspring aged and the little problems of little kids developed into bigger problems of bigger kids, Sunday services became a time to rise out of the cares of the week and feel the acceptance and support of the community around me. Now that the offspring are all successfully launched and I've retired, Sunday mornings have become more of a time to try to unearth and feed the elusive spiritual side of my nature. For that reason, we've currently been favoring the early contemplative service, although I realize we miss out on some good music by doing that.
One thing I have noticed over the years is that when we attend ERUUF on Sundays, my week just seems to start off better. I am more centered. I am more successful in remembering how to treat people with compassion. And I find that inspiration from the people in this fellowship. My hope for ERUUF is that we continue to grow as a diverse community of shared values, supporting one another, and working together to improve our world.
Okay. I realized that I had not given you all a proper welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, or ERUUF, as we like to say. My name is Reverend Jacqueline Brett. I'm the lead minister here, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, your gender identities, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey or in your search for truth, liberation, and freedom, we welcome you here in beloved community. If you're visiting with us for the first, or maybe you've even been here before, but now you're back, I invite you to rise in body or spirit so that we might give you an ERUUF welcome. Welcome to you all, and thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. And for those of you who are back there holding up that wall, come on down. There's some seats over here. There's some seats over here. Come on down. There are places to sit. Let's... Thanks for making space. That's what we do here. We make space for one another. So now would be a great time to turn off or down any devices. Don't turn them off, just turn them down, any devices that you might have. And for those of you who are visiting, On Sundays at 10 a.m. is a class that we hold called Inquirers for Visitors and Newcomers. It takes place in the building to the right of this building if you're going outside these doors. And it allows you to learn some things about who we are as a congregation. And also you get to share some things about yourselves as well. So let's all center ourselves into this time and into this space right now. And let's all collectively take a deep breath in and let it out. And now, Kate.
I'm going to invite all of our smallest and mediumest and tallest folks of either the younger persuasion or feeling like the younger persuasion to join us for our time for all ages. Hello, please be careful. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Although I'm sure that is fun. Our book today is called Nell Plants a Tree. And what I'm going to tell you is there is a mystery in this book. Now, the book is not a mystery, but there is a mystery in this book because it's called Nell Plants a Tree, but guess what? This is not Nell. This is not Nell on the cover. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But also, has anybody ever planted a tree? A few people have planted a tree. So when you plant a tree, it immediately grows up to be super, right? No? How long does it take? A number of years is what I'm seeing, right? I'm hearing that I'm seeing maybe 100 years. I know that there are trees that are 100 years old. So we're going to figure out what's happening here. So now this is before you plant a tree, but the tree's already here. Okay, so we're going to have to figure that out. And here is our main character who is not Nell, or one of our main characters. Before a grip on a branch and a fall to the ground and a scrape and a leap and a reach for the top, before anyone finds out how high they can climb, here's Nell. Nell picks up a seed. Notice what color Nell is wearing. That's going to be a clue. There's some black in her outfit, but it's mostly a different color, isn't it? Yellow, orangish yellow. Kind of like golden yellow. Yeah. Okay, now we're back to our other main character. Before a hush and a point and a nest filled with eggs and a crack in a shell and a beak pipping through, before anyone watches 3 chicks hatching free. Birds growing up in a tree. Nell buries a sprout. The seed has sprouted. She's putting it in a pot. Before last place is always, then fourth place, then second. Arms driving, toes gripping, hands stretched to the trunk. Before anyone wins for the very first time, you see our main character? Do you notice anything else? Nell waters the soil. Nell's watering. What's this going to be in the pot? A tree. Right. But like you said, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take longer than a minute. Before a too noisy den and a too squeaky chair and a too scratchy field and a too muddy bank, before anyone finds the best spot to get lost, in this character's case, it's in a book, Nell lets in the sun. Why is Nell letting in the sun? What do you think? Because plants need sunlight. Yes, this is what I'm hearing. Told you the color Nell was wearing earlier. Wonder if anybody's drawing conclusions, perhaps. Before sacks of pecans or pecans, or I swear also somebody calls them pickens. I'm from the Midwest originally. And a crack and a crunch and a roll and a press and a mix and a pour and a peek in the oven, a shoo from the kitchen, a blue baking timer that finally dings. Before anyone takes the first bite of warm pie. Gosh, I love pie. Huh. Wonder where Nell is.
I know what's happening.
What do you think's happening?
I think it's like back. So everyone, it's like before because Nell is planting the tree. Well, in the future, the kids are doing all this stuff on the tree.
Nell planted a tree in the past. Kids are playing on it in the future. What do you think?
I think Nell's the grandma.
You think?
The kid.
You think Nell's the grandma? Okay, let's see. Nell digs a hole. Why is she digging a hole? Plant the tree, right. You got to put the tree in the ground. You can't keep it in that pot forever. It's got to keep growing, kind of like a place like ERUUF. Sometimes you got to transplant it. It's got to keep growing out. Before treasure's defined, like a long strip of bark and a shell and a stone and a leaf flecked with holes, and a slender white root sprouting from a pecan or pecan or pickin that our other main characters holding. Before anyone asks what to do with a seed, yeah?
I think they're talking about Nell and past when she was a kid.
Maybe. Nell plants a tree, like you said, got to put it in the ground. Nell's taken care of it and nurtured it and put it in the ground. That grows up. Nell's getting older. And the roots are growing and the tree is growing and grows, and Nell's getting older and her family's getting older, and now she has kids and they're getting older. And grows. And look, like her kids are old enough to have kids. And there's that main character. And there's Nell. You were right. Nell is the grandmother.
And I was also right.
You were. You were both right. You were all right. So just like this story, like all of us are in all these places in the story. Some of us planted a tree long ago, helped nurture this community, and are still here, and we get to see the tree grow. Some of us are planting trees now at ERUUF and getting to see them grow. And some of us get to be the kids playing on the trees, too. So thank you, everybody here, for being part of that process, of that tree growing, of nurturing that tree. Thank you for what you have planted. Thank you for what you are planting. And thank you for what you are nurturing. And with that, let us go to religious exploration.
Peace, salam, shalom. 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 I'm so sorry. It is now time to turn and greet your neighbor. I almost forgot. And please say hello to someone you don't know.
Please join me now in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, in this season of uncertainty, we pause this morning to be present, here and now, and open. Open to the voice of courage calling us to take responsibility for the world we are creating. Open to the song of hope that propels us in working together for justice, inclusion, and peace. Open to the blessings of community that remind us when we come together centered in love, we can truly live into our mission to transform lives and make a real difference in the world. May we continue to grow in our capacity to embody our shared values in our journey together. As a people who care for this world and for one another, we lift up our joys and concerns. We hold on our hearts all here and all the world over who have been forgotten, who are marginalized, who are in crisis, and who may have lost hope. May they know comfort and strength. We hold on our hearts all children everywhere, that they may know care and support. We hold on our hearts the heart and soul of the world during this season of uncertainty. May we find ways to come together with deeper understanding and put compassion into action. We also hold on our hearts all those celebrating joys, milestones, and successes in life at this time. With the spirit of gratitude, we welcome the gifts of this day and the joy of being in community. May we always work to offer a place of belonging for all who come to feel a part of something greater. In the spirit of unity, let us offer our prayers and blessings in silence together. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
Our hymn for meditation this morning is I Know This Rose Will Open, number 396 in the gray hymnal. The lyrics are on the screen. We're going to sing it through once together, and then I'd like us to try it in a round. So we'll start with this section, followed by this section, and this section, and this. We've got four beautiful sections of folks here today. So we'll sing it through once together. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose. 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 I know this rose will open. Beautiful, thank you.
You looked very worried. It was okay. Y'all did it. It was great. not an easy thing to do with so many people in a room. Some of you, I guess, were away for a little bit, and so I'm seeing you back, and it does my heart well to see some of your faces back. Okay, you see me looking at you, right? Yeah. I just wanted to say hi, it's good to see you. That's all. I'm trying to get out of calling people's names out during service. But hi, y'all, it's good to see you. Especially those of you who may have just taken a little bit of a break. I'm glad to see you back. So several years ago, a friend and I decided to splurge on a dinner at a restaurant we'd been excited about going to, though what we were most excited about was having the time to visit with one another. And so we talked during a very delicious meal. And so as we were preparing to leave and ask for the check, much to our surprise, the server told us that our check had already been paid by someone who said they were inspired by our connection and our relationship, which was actually written on the service ticket. We were quite surprised and began looking around the restaurant to see if we could identify the party who had been observing us. So, that could be either way, right? The server, though, was obviously enjoying our surprise and said if we were complete, all we had to do was leave and enjoy the gift. So we did. It was quite something to be given such a gift by a complete stranger who we did not know. And though it would have been nice to find out who this person was so that we could shower them with our thanks, in some ways it was quite nice, perhaps even a little magical to not know. And I am quite all right with a little magic in my life from time to time, and I think we all could use some. And yet, I also felt so blessed by our anonymous giver who had no way of knowing how deeply moved my friend and I were, and I never forgot that gifting moment. It was a year or two later that as I sat in a different restaurant eating a meal during the winter holiday season and had some extra money on hand, that I decided to reciprocate by letting a server know that I would anonymously pay for the meal of a young couple I had been observing. And just to make sure that I had a check on my ego, I left the restaurant before they received the gift because I really wanted it to be about them and not about me feeling self-satisfied that I had done something I hoped was good. And though I left, I did so feeling quite joyous, contemplating the waiter giving them the ticket that wished them great joy and happiness during the holiday season. It was as though the original gift giver had ignited a desire within me to give to someone else as I was able. And perhaps something similar would be ignited in that couple, though they were certainly not obligated to do a darn thing. It was not why I had given the gift. The author Robin Wall Kimmerer describes the distinction between buying something as a commodity and being gifted with the same item. The difference between a mindful gift by someone who cares about us, who is interested in us, rather than a gift that might be a little less thoughtfully purchased or given in order to simply fulfill an obligation. Conceiving of something as a gift, Kimmerer says, changes your relationship to it in a profound way, even though the physical makeup of the thing has not changed at all. The power of what she describes as gift thinking is that it changes our relationship with the thing when we're not simply thinking of it as a commodity. For instance, I love going to great restaurants when I'm able to and having an excellent meal with a good friend. But that anonymous meal I was once gifted with no expectation of anything in return, is the singular experience of a meal that I have never, ever forgotten. And I wanted to reciprocate that somehow, which isn't unusual. To imagine the world as gift, Kimmerer says, is to feel your membership in the web of reciprocity. It makes you happy. And indeed, I was happy at my joy of gifting a meal to someone else. And she also says it makes you accountable, because to mistreat a gift has emotional and even ethical gravity. Kimmerer, a botanist of indigenous descent and a member of the Anishinaabe people, does consider the actual world itself as one of our greatest gifts, and she reflects, I imagine if we acknowledge that everything we consumed is the gift of Mother Earth, we would take better care of what we had been given. She suggests that the cultivation of gratitude might be part of that solution. I would say yes, and also perhaps understanding that most of us think in terms of an economic system that commoditizes everything, with the definition of conventional Western economics as the study of scarcity, and how people make decisions in their use of resources and respond to incentives in the face of scarcity. This definition, according to the American Economic Association. With a market economy rooted in such beliefs, it is no wonder then that most of us hold in some way or another a scarcity mindset that has resulted in the commodification of just about everything, and even everyone, resulting in the absurdity of greed and not enoughness, to the horrific mistreatment of people other than human beings and our planet itself. After drinking from a spring of icy cold water gushing out of the ground, free and pure, Kimmerer asks, how long has it been since you drank wild water? Isn't that deep? I had to pause. I was like, yeah, like my water comes either out of a faucet that has been treated by the city of Durham, which doesn't always do a good job, sorry, or it is in some bottle, right, where someone has put some purification chemicals in it, which is so interesting, right, that there are chemicals in the water to purify it. But she's talking about water gushing out of the ground, free and pure, naturally so. Water that is wild. I feel like I want to go somewhere and find me some wild water to drink. But there are communities with cultural worldviews that result in actively providing for themselves using different models of being in relationship with the goods and services that we need in order to live. Gift economy is key among these alternative practices and views. The systems of exchange in such economies are the circulation of goods and services without expectation or direct compensation, which seems rather suspicious, like I was at the restaurant, or it seems impossible for those of us accustomed to living otherwise. But Kimmerer describes that wealth in such economies is understood as having enough to spare, and to share. And the practice for dealing with abundance is to give it away. A gift economy nurtures the community bonds that enhance natural well-being, she says, mutual well-being. The economic unit is we rather than I, as all flourishing is actually mutual. We are only truly thriving when everyone is thriving. Kimmerer describes such communities as living by the principle of those who have give to those who don't, so that everyone in the system has what they need. It is not regulated by some entity from above, but derives from a collective sense of equity in enoughness and accountability and distributing the gifts of the earth. The prosperity of such communities grows from the flow of relationships, not the accumulation of goods, because gifts are not meant to be hoarded and made scarce for others in the community, but are meant to be given away so that there is enough for all. So how does this all happen? The most important currency of a gift economy are gratitude and connection or relationships, rather than goods or money. Generosity is also key. And gratitude results in reciprocity, the desire to offer a gift to someone else who has a need. Though most of us here are likely accustomed to a Western market economy wherein we likely have far more than we actually need, several things come to mind as I have been learning more about gift economies. First is that such an economy naturally connects with our values as Unitarian Universalists. Most obviously, our values of generosity, of interdependence as we consider the mutuality of flourishing, and that of equity, in which there is mutual concern that everyone in the community has what they need, not what we think they should have. Unfortunately, where such economies have existed most often among indigenous communities here in the United States, they have been interrupted by our government, whether through not honoring historical treaties or even more recently, when agreements regarding sacred tribal lands have been violated, with rights to those lands conveyed to private corporations for the purposes of building pipelines or for mining or for drilling. We know that's happening right now, right? A philosopher and scientist whose last name is Marshall, and I somehow neglected to put their first name here, says that because a generalized sense of reciprocity is at the very heart of a gift economy, they function best, such economies function best in small, close-knit communities, communities like ours. And while we have much to learn about this, I also believe in many ways the very nature of our community here at ERUUF is that of a gift economy. As I've often said, everything that we see here and use here has been a gift of members of this community, most often given anonymously with no expectation of any personal gain except to see the overall community to thrive. Gift economies prioritize the collective well-being over individual accumulation. It is a mindset that leads us to have a more cohesive and supportive community. The other day, I had a conversation with the anonymous person who provided us with the challenge grant that I mentioned to all of you back in December and January. And for those of you who don't know, we had a very generous member of this congregation who offered us a challenge grant of $250,000. And the grant was that for us to meet at 3-to-1, that they would give $250,000 and we would raise $750,000. And we had to do it by January 31st. So we managed to raise $596,650, which, to be honest, as you can do the math, yes, let's applaud. But to be honest, it was short of the $750,000 we initially set out to raise. And so as I spoke to the donor about what we had raised, inwardly, I wondered whether it would change the result of our grant from them. Though knowing this person as I did, I didn't believe it would, but I still had to let them know where things stood. And they quite generously and humbly responded to me. I am so very glad that the resources I have resulted in ERUUF being able to raise this money. They were less concerned about the amount and more concerned that they had initiated generosity from the congregation. This person, along with others here, exemplify the principle that true wealth is not in what we possess, but in what we give. A perspective in which each one of us can see our individual resources, no matter what those resources are, no matter the amount, as tools for communal upliftment. Second is the cultivation of sustainable and resilient relationships. Our continuous cycles of giving and receiving create lasting bonds and mutual support that allow us to be resilient in the face of challenges. What readily comes to mind for me are the many gifts some of you gave during the COVID pandemic to ensure that ERUUF, this place, this community, would continue to survive. And we did survive. Some congregations did not. We not only survived, we thrived during that time due to the gifts coming from this community. Today, we continue to assist those in need through the Ministerial Discretionary Fund. That is a fund that anyone can give to, and people often do, and that we use in order to meet needs, unexpected needs that come up among all of you, the congregation. And every once in a while, we hear of a need beyond the congregation, and we use that fund for that. We also provide gifts to community organizations in alignment with our values through our Generosity Sunday collections, our Infusions Giving Circle, right, Beth? And other means as needed. In such ways, we create strength and we create resilience by sharing our resources, especially when we're faced with oppressive external forces that many are facing in these times. And ERUUF's gift economy is not only about money, but is also about all of you who are actively sharing some of your other resources as well. I'm thinking about our care team that forms meal trains for those who are ill. Joyce Boucheron, I thought I saw Joyce somewhere in the back of the sanctuary. I'm just amazed at all that Joyce is doing at this time. And but that is, and it is a gift, and that is the nature of all of you here. I think about folks who provide things for events, and when asked for a receipt, sometimes say, so that we can reimburse them, sometimes they simply say, I just want to make it a gift. I think about our gardeners, such as Bev Harvat again, who, let me tell you something. Earlier this week, there were some guys here, rocks. Like not little rocks, like rocks. And I noticed that one of the people didn't look like the rest of the guys. And I stopped, I said, Beth? And Beth was like, hi, Reverend Jacqueline. Beth was right, all of them doing stuff as well. And it was just, I just, my heart was so warmed seeing you do that, Beth. Because no one asked Beth to do that. No one expected Beth to do that. But Beth was right in there with those rock people, making sure that whatever needed to be done was being done well. And so, yeah, those were the contractors. Yes, snaps for Beth. But we have other people too. Nancy Henley and Barbara Beeman also, who do a lot of the planting in these grounds. There are times when I walk on this campus and it takes my breath away just looking at the place. And we have people who do that. We had one of our oldest members, and I mean, well, one of our oldest members here yesterday. I drove into the driveway and they were sitting on the back of their SUV, and I said, "What are you doing here?" And they, and I'm intentionally using the word they because I did not ask for permission to out them around this. They said, "I'm doing mole work." I was like, "What?" And they said, "I'm digging holes." And I was like, "Why are you digging these holes?" Because they needed to be dug. No one asked this person to do that, but they knew the work needed to be done, and so they were there doing it. And I said, "You know, you don't really need to do that." And they said, "But I want to. It makes me happy." And I was like, "Okay." I'm going to be out here checking on you. And it was just lovely seeing that. I think about Carol Ann and Diane Blount, who unasked started a new ministry of delivering flowers to people on Sundays. They take these flowers and they create other flowers, smaller vases of flowers, and people get gifts of flowers unasked for, people who might need a little encouragement and who are at home. Snaps. There are all kinds of things like this, and know that I see so many of you, spiritual threads, who created all of those stoles that the choir is wearing, who created my favorite stole, which was my ordination stole, because they wanted to, and it makes my heart happy. I went off on a tangent, so I have to now find my way back. Yeah, so I see and appreciate how much so many of you give of yourselves to make this community what it is. Doing the obvious things that need to be done, but also the invisible things that no one asked you to do. I ask all of us, and have been wondering for myself, what would it mean for us to go even deeper into the practices of being a gift economy? And for those of you who believe you might not have much to give as a gift, I want to tell you about a story that took place 10 years ago when I was director of membership for one of our local UU congregations. We have a program called Coming of Age, in which our youth participate in a program over the course of a year, and they end up with a credo, or what some of us might know as a "this I believe" statement. And so in this congregation, the 13-year-olds were part of that. I think our youth tend to be older when they participate in this program. But in this congregation, they were 13 years old. And the director of RE said to me, "You know, I would love it if you would talk to these kids about possibly becoming members, because the bylaws in this congregation said that they could become members at age 13. Ours is a bit different, but in that congregation, they could become members at age 13. It also said in their bylaws that everyone who was a member had to have make a financial pledge. So she and I began talking about this because I was concerned about two things. One is that I didn't want the kids to decide to become members feeling peer pressure, feeling either pressure from her or from me, or pressure from one another. So I wanted it to be a sincere gesture on their part. I also felt that if we were going to ask them to pledge, it had to be their pledge, not their parents' pledge. Like, we didn't want them to give us like these ridiculous amounts of money, then their parents had to pay for it. We wanted them to be responsible, considering what was the gift that they were going to make to the community. So she and I, after discussing it, and I believe she even talked to some parents, we came upon the number of $25. Because the pledge is for a year, and we felt that all of them could easily make a pledge of $25, which basically amounts to less than 50 cents a week. And that the parents did not have to get involved, but the parents could hold their kids accountable for meeting and honoring their pledge. And so there was a group of kids who did decide to become members. They made their pledge, they met their pledge, and they had our gratitude. And so I would be remiss if I did not mention that one of your most important gifts of all, and that is your pledge, which is both a gift and a mutual trust. It is a gift that you pledge as you trust that we will manage it well on behalf of the congregation. I ask each and every one of us in this pledge season to give a gift that is truly meaningful to you, each and every one of us. One that is exemplified by the inspirations of a true gift economy: generosity, relationship and connection, reciprocity, and of course, gratitude. If you're grateful for this place, if you're grateful that you have this place to go to, I'm asking you to make a pledge. And you don't even have to be a member. Actually, friends of our congregation are considered those who make a pledge realizing and recognizing that they might not yet be able or have met criteria for membership. Make a pledge anyway if this place has value to you. Because in community, all of it matters. For the practices, for the growth and resilience of your heart, and for the possibilities of all that we can create together. It's funny, I'm looking at the people who are avoiding looking at me right now. I don't have a problem asking for money, so just because I don't have a problem asking for money for this place. I might have problems asking for money for other things, but just know that because I believe in this place. I believe in the power of this place. I believe in the importance of this place, that we exist. And that we're existing not only for us, but that we're existing for people out there who are coming in these doors. That we exist for people who need a place to go and have nowhere else to go. Who need to be accepted for who they are, authentically, and knowing that we will do that here. I have no problems asking for money for this. So let us make it so, my friends. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. So this week, we do have pledge cards. We didn't have them last week, but there are pledge cards in the pews. And know that your pledge is not something you're paying in this moment. It is a pledge that you're making toward next year's budget. And so you would begin paying the pledge in July of this year. So making a pledge, but we want you to honor the pledge that you make. So making a pledge, and there's even options if you're a sustainer and you'd like to increase your pledge. But I still nonetheless ask the greeters to come forward so that we can take up this morning's offering. If you are not or not ready in this moment to make a pledge, we do want you to be thoughtful about that. But you might want to place something in our collection pouches, and if you don't have anything to place there, you can easily point your device at the QR code. It will take you to our giving portal, and you can make a pledge. You can give there, a one-time gift. Okay.
Unity.
We offer our thanks for all the gifts of beloved community, all the many, many things so many of you do. And I would be remiss in not mentioning you, Richard. Richard is the person who I'm embarrassing right now, but whenever something's falling apart, we're like, we gotta call Richard. And actually we did that when Reverend Daniel was on sabbatical, and Richard helps us out with so many things that have to do with the structural elements of this building and other buildings as well. So we are grateful. I am grateful for all of you and all that you give, the many, many things that you do. Thank you for your music. Grateful. I'll turn it over to you.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing our closing hymn, Wo Ya Ya, number 1020 in the teal hymnal, and the lyrics are on the screen.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya, wo ya ya. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo ya ya, 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 wo ya
So our closing words this morning are by Robin Wall Kimmerer, who says the currency in a gift economy is relationship, which is expressed as gratitude, as interdependence, and the ongoing cycles of reciprocity. A gift economy nurtures the community bonds that enhance mutual well-being. The economic unit is we rather than I, as all flourishing is mutual. May we here at ERUUF be rich in the currency of our relationships and of our generosity, where the bonds of all shall flourish. Go in peace, go in love, go with courage, and know that you are not alone. Amen, ashe, and blessed be.